Oh, good morning, everybody. Well, it's butcher day. Michelle and I just getting up and getting out of the house. And Michelle got up extra early this morning and said, yay, it's like Christmas. But we get to unwrap chickens instead.
Hi, this is Michelle, and thank you for watching Floribama Homestead. We are now getting ready to process chickens. So these are our meat birds, and we raised them together in a pen with our turkeys, which worked out great. Whenever they start out as babies together, they don't hurt each other, and it was wonderful. Everybody had plenty of room. So we're taking these meat birds over to these cones that we use. It's aluminum with some duct tape, and we have them fastened on the side of a tractor here that we move around for other chickens in the past. You just drop the chicken in upside down in the cone, and there's a little opening on the bottom where the head comes out, and then you just find the vein there and let all the blood drain out from the chicken. And I think it's a little more humane than them running around and splashing about. Then you take the bird over and you dunk it into hot boiling water, about 155 to 165 degrees. And remember to move the chicken around in the water so the feathers will loosen up. And once that happens, Randall and I purchased a wonderful feather plucker. And you can go online, go on Amazon or whatever, and purchase these. It is fabulous. It only takes 15 seconds once the bird comes out of the boiling hot water. You put it in this chicken plucker, and or feather plucker, and it takes out all the feathers from the chicken in like 15 seconds. It is such a time saver for us. Unfortunately, we don't have one big enough for the turkeys, so we have to remove the feathers of the turkeys by hand. But as you see, this is just a fabulous contraption. So if you were wondering about it, I do recommend one of these feather plucking contraptions. So now we're going to move on to processing the chickens. Here we've already gone through quite a few chickens and processed them, and we put them on ice. And this is our disassembly line. And there's Randall right there. He's removing a breast, which he's doing a fine job, I may add. And then right next to Randall is Chip's wife, Nicole, and she's taking off a tenderloin. And then down towards the end is Tessie, my cousin, and she's removing the hindquarters, the thigh and the leg from the chicken. And everybody's just doing a great job. And I'm a former city girl, so if I can do this, you can do this. Okay, so here is Tessie removing a tenderloin, and then now we're going to break down a chicken for you whole. There's Chip. He's removing the hindquarters, the legs, and the thighs. And once you pull them back, it exposes a bone or a joint, and you can just pop that joint right off with the knife. And then you can turn it over. You cut these little wing dings off on the ends of the wings, and then you can take the wing sections, just fold it back and expose the joint. You'll see it. You want to cut right there in the middle of the joint, and then you take the little bottom of the drumstick wing off, and you can see the joint where it connects onto the chicken. So it's really easy. It's kind of self-explanatory. There's Nicole taking apart the wings, and then Chip is taking off another wing. I find it easier if you just go ahead and take off the whole wing and then take them apart, take the wing ding off, and then separate the wings after you get the whole wing section off. Now Chip's going to cut the skin back on the chicken so he can expose the breast. And then once he does that, he's going to take his hands and feel for the spine, and you're going to cut right there up against the spine so you get every little bit of chicken, and then use your fingers to pull the meat back, and it will expose the tenderloin just completely. It's surprisingly easy. You just pull it back, and it exposes that tenderloin for you, and then you just cut the chicken right along the lines. Now he's going to take off the tenderloin. Everything is just really easy. You just follow the edges of the meat, and it just it's really kind of self-explanatory. You can't go wrong unless you puncture the lung or a gizzard or something, or the liver. but he's turning it over. He's going to take the other breast off. See, he's going right there by the backbone, and he's just pulling the meat away as he's cutting it, and then it exposes the tenderloin underneath. Super easy. And then he just slowly cuts away at the chicken breast, and then bam, he's got a full chicken breast right there. Real easy. All he's left with is the tenderloin. And then I'm going to let Randall take over and tell you about taking out the insides of the chicken. Thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to introduce Chip and Nicole for Hidden Oaks Homestead. So that's them right there, they're waving at the camera. And basically they come out today to help us do some butchering. And hopefully they took away some valuable information as we kind of showed them on how we break down our chickens. And in this video right here, I'm demonstrating to them on how we do an evisceration of a bird. But I'm gonna pause just for a second and say that if you find any of this information valuable so far, we'd encourage you to hit the subscribe button and set your bell's notification to all. That way you get an update every time we release a video. But right here, I'm pointing at the bird, telling, you know, first thing we want to do is take the head off. And so Chip, you know, he spins it around there. And basically, you're just looking for a vertebrae right in the neck, and just kind of let your knife find where that vertebrae is. And if you can find that little vertebrae and just kind of get your knife down in there, that head will come right off. So the next thing we do is we flip it around. We move to taking away the feet off. But if you put your thumb like right in that little indentation where that joint is, where that joint comes together, you can generally just slice right through that cartilage with no problem. And you can see that Chip just easily removed those legs, you know, effortlessly. So what I'm showing here is right at the bottom of the chicken. You just kind of give it a little slice with the knife, and it just skipped right through that. I don't know what happened with that video, but once you open it up big enough, you can get your hands in there and you can pull all the innards out. And this is called the evisceration. So you're just taking all the insides out. And basically, I'm going to take a second here and I'm going to show, you know, there's the heart. All right, so we got the heart out of there, and I find the gizzard, and well, there's the liver. Those bright pink things right there, that's the liver. And that's the gizzard right there in the hand. So I want to just take a second and cut that gizzard open and explain what a gizzard does. A gizzard is just a muscle that poultry has in them, that they eat rocks and sand, and that gets trapped down in that gizzard muscle. And as food enters from their crop down into the gizzard, that gizzard is constantly moving, and it's using those rocks and sand in there and massaging the food, and the rocks are breaking down that food so it's digestible to the bird. So as I open it up right here, you can see all the sand, and there's some grass in there, and I'll show that to you right here in this clip. So basically that's just what we're looking at right here. Is we're just going through and we're identifying some of the insides of the bird, if people just aren't familiar with what the insides are. Now, if you wanted to save that gizzard and eat, you pull that tough lining out. And when you took that lining out, all the sand and everything will come with it, and you're left with just the muscle. And then you can fry those up or however you want to cook them. But basically, they took the carcasses back with them, and they're going to cook up those carcasses and all the innards, and they're going to feed those to their pigs as food. So even though they come over to help us, they also took home not only the bird that they're cleaning right here in this video, they also took home all the carcasses, so they had a little extra food to feed to their pigs. We cleaned 25 meat birds in about 3 hours, so they had quite a bit to take home. And I just want to give them a big thank you for coming out and helping us. We really enjoyed their company, such wonderful people. And again, we're going to put a link down in the bottom of the video so you can go over to their channel and see what they have going on there. So but in the video right here, he's just trying to get those lungs out of there. So you see they're bright pink, and they don't come out too easy. There's actually a tool that you can grab. It's called an evisceration tool, and it'll kind of scrape those lungs out of the carcass. But there's got to be a little trick to getting those things out, because they don't just come out with the rest of the innards. All right, so we're flipping the bird around right here. And the only thing you have left in the front is to get that windpipe out of there. So you grab a hold of that windpipe, and then you just take your little knife, and you just kind of cut around that windpipe until it releases. When you get that windpipe out of there, you're going to leave an area where you can flush all that out with a water hose, and just finish cleaning it up. But they're going to put this bird on ice. We're going to finish our processing, and they're going to end up taking this bird home. All right, so basically that's all it is to eviscerating a chicken. So I hope you enjoyed this one section. Okay, we just finished up the butcher, and everything's cleaned up. We got all the meat into the cooler. It's on ice. We're going to let it sit for 24 hours on ice. And we gave a chicken to Tessie, and we gave it to Chip and Nicole. And we really appreciate those guys coming out. What a wonderful job. The whole process was smooth, and they really jumped in there and basically did most of the processing for us. And I think they really took away some really good lessons. And I would encourage you to flip over to Hidden Oaks Homestead and check out their channel. We're going to link it below in the video. But they just moved back to the United States from Abu Dhabi. And they have a really neat story. They just moved back right as the lockdown quarantine hit for the corona. And they've been trying to establish a homestead, buy animals, plant a garden, and really started and getting moved in and settled into their house right as all this pandemic stuff hit. And flip over to their channel and check them out. They're doing a really good job with their YouTube channel. And I want to also say many thanks for Tessie. When she came out, we had such a great time. We really enjoyed Tessie being here, and what a tremendous help she was with the chickens also. Okay, so if you find value in the content that you've been watching today, I would encourage you to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, and also set your bell notifications to all. That way you get an update every time we release a video. We're really trying to build a community of like-minded people, and so that we can all come together and share resources and ideas. And thanks for watching.